Are you serious? Now, breaking news. Get a cup of coffee. We got to talk Syria, Syria, Syria. Seriously, we've got to talk Syria. Hang on a second. Assad, President Assad, Debkafile is reporting. I want to thank Wayne of Canada for getting me some information here. I'm going to read to you highly important information that is not being reported in media. This is direct information from military sources. So let me read that. I'll do that one first. Here's what is being reported. Gulf sources are reporting that Gulf armies are on high alert pending Syria action. The military alert is reported Thursday by various Gulf sources, including the U.S. military, pending a strike against Syria in 2 days. Now, today is June 28th, 2012, so we're talking Saturday, June the 30th. This report, according to NATO forces, are about to move to Turkey. It is not confirmed by any official source. U.S. forces in the Gulf are apparently on forward positions and high alert, as are Saudi Arabian special forces and their National Guard. Also, Israeli too is reported in mobilization, and Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan is said to be preparing an extraordinary parliament session to authorize Syria intervention. The same unconfirmed sources are citing that Saturday as the day of the NATO attack. When in Geneva, the United Nations Action Group holds its first meeting to approve a transitional unity government in Damascus. The 5 UN Security Council powers, and you know who they are, United States of America, Russia, China, United Kingdom, and France. So the 5 UN Security Council powers, the EU, and the Arab League are all going to be represented, but not Iran or Saudi Arabia. And there's a reason for that. Of course, because they're on two opposite sides of the spectrum here. All right, so this is not confirmed. It's not confirmed. But military sources are reporting, and several other sources, but I cannot tell you the names of those sources. Those are not confirmed. Again, I repeat, not confirmed. But here's what is confirmed. Debka Files reporting that President Assad is confined to his palace by the Republican Guard. Western intelligence sources and Debka File reports today, June the 28th, 2012, that the Republican Guard Battalion commander has charged with the Syrian president's security is keeping Bashar Assad shut away in his Unity Palace. Assad and his family may not leave the building without the commander's permission, under an order current since the second half of last week. It is not clear to whom the commander defers in this case, and who in fact actually determines whether Assad can come or go. Well, I'm sure it's Assad, but asked by Debka File if an element in the Republican Guard ordered the palace placed under siege to prevent the president and his family from fleeing Syria, those Western sources replied that the situation could be described as partial siege, which is constantly expanding. They added in response to another question that the Syrian ruler's freedom of movement, that neither Assad nor members of his family are able to leave the palace to go anywhere. They are aware of the restrictions placed on their movements. Because of the partial siege and their restrictions and those intelligence sources, Assad and his wife are both in very low spirits and the atmosphere inside the palace is very bleak. Okay? So these are reports that Assad and his family, his wife, his family, are confined to the presidential palace. That the commander of the Republican Guard, who's responsible for his security, is saying, the president, you cannot leave the palace. But it's not just that he's saying you can't leave because of your own safety. It's a partial siege that they're saying you can't leave. Okay? The things deteriorate. In other words, the nation of Syria is deteriorating, and the city of Damascus is becoming a ruinous heap, a war zone, a battlefield. And it's not just an uprising. First it started as a protest. Forget the Arab Spring, it's over. This is a Middle East war. It involves not just the nations that have been overthrown of their leaders, not just Tunisia and Egypt and Libya, Yemen and Syria, but it now involves the United States of America, Britain, France, Russia, Turkey, China, and do we add any more? This has now become a Middle East war on the verge of something even greater. I mean, we're talking, folks, potential, dangerous situations now of World War III. You don't want that. I don't want that. Nobody does. But we're staring at biblical prophecy from the book of Isaiah in the 17th chapter and the first verse. And let me read it. The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap. Now, also, the Bible talks about the fall of Damascus in the book of Jeremiah. I'm going to go there now to the 49th chapter, verse 23. Concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded, and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. What did it say? Assad is saying the mood there, they're in low spirits. Assad and his wife are in very low spirits, and the atmosphere in the palace is one of being bleak. Concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded, and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. And of course, all these ships are gathering now. It cannot be quiet. Damascus is waxed feeble, and turneth herself to flee, and fear has seized on her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her as a woman in travail. We're talking Syria's got tanks, soldiers right on the border. British special ops are already in the city of Damascus, engaged in battle. Libyan, 10,000 soldiers from Libya who've been trained in Jordan by NATO are in Syria fighting on behalf of the Free Syrian Army and the people. And now NATO, rumors are NATO, is planning an attack on Saturday, June the 30th, 2012. How is the city of praise not left, the city of my joy? Therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord of hosts. And I will kindle a fire in the walls of Damascus. The presidential palace is actually on the perimeter of the city of Damascus. If you will, it's on the walls. Are you saved? We're looking at biblical prophecy. We're realizing we're living in the time the Bible spoke of. We're getting closer to the Psalms 83 war. There's no doubt about that. Verses 1 through 5. And we're looking right at Isaiah 17:1 and Jeremiah 49 and the destruction of Damascus. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time. I don't know what that means and how long, but I can tell you, Christ is going to return. Are you saved? Send me a personal message. I want to be saved. I want to be saved. I want to be safe.